Hi, my name's Steve, and I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of some of the new features in the Mirah Netbeans plugin that allow you to use Maven projects. So right now I want to show you how to integrate Mirah with JavaFX. Okay, so I'm going to start out by just going File, New Project. Now first of all, I'm assuming that you have the Mirah NBM plugin installed. That's it's available at GitHub. You can go to this address, click on Releases, and you can download the latest release. If you already have an older version installed, you can update it through the Tools, Plugins option through Netbeans. And if you have that all there, then you'll be able to create Mirah files inside your Java projects. So I'm going to create a Maven project. It's a JavaFX application. And I'll call it Maven FX Demo for now. We'll leave everything else default, even though you probably want to change your group ID, etc. And so this part's going to take a second because it's got to use Maven to download all the dependencies. We can watch in the output, and actually it didn't take that long. I guess I've already downloaded most of them. So in just a second, my project should appear. There it is in the Project Explorer. So let's expand it just to take a look at the structure. So it's created a main app for me. This is the entry point for my JavaFX application, and it's using an FXML. So here's the FXML template. If I double click on this, it'll open it up in Scene Builder. Just want to give you a sense of this default application. If you've done JavaFX before, then this looks very familiar. It's just the starter Hello World application that it gives you. Okay, so all it is an application with a button that says click me, and it also has this little hidden label on it also. And it is set up. You can see if we click on the code panel here, where's the oh, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm on labels. So if you click on anchor pane, then click on code, the controller class is set as the FXML controller, which is we'll go back into Netbeans and take a look at it, and it's how it's binding the different UI components. For example, the button here, it says on action, handle button action. Well, that's tied to this handle button action method, and it uses the FXML annotation to know that. And the label, let's see how this is tied in. Okay, so the FX ID is label, and so inside the FXML controller, it's going to look for a member named label, and it uses, again, the FXML annotation to know that. So that's how it's all bound together. So let's just run this application to start off just to see that it runs. And this may take a second. We'll download dependencies as it's using Maven in the background. It's one of the reasons to love Netbeans is because of Maven. It just works with Maven projects as they are. Okay, here's my app. When I click me, you can see, looking at the handle button action, it should print you clicked me in the console and set the label text hello world. And indeed, that's what happens. It says you clicked me at the bottom there. Okay, so that's our basic application. Now we're going to add a little bit of Mirah into the mix. So let's go. I'm going to right click on the package. I'm just going to put it in the same Java package as my Java stuff. And I want to click New. I need a Mirah class. If you've been doing a lot of Mirah stuff, it'll probably just show up. Do I not have the... I may not have Mirah installed yet. So that's a good thing. Okay, so I need to install the Mirah plugin before I can actually go further. Okay, so I'm going to download the latest, 1.024. I must have loaded up a different version. Okay, and I'll go back into Netbeans, go into plugins, and available plugins. Or actually, I'm going to go to downloaded and add the plugin that I have just downloaded. There we go. It'll be in downloads. sort by date. There it is. Okay, so the NB Mirah plugin, I'll just click install. Next, I accept. It's just the Apache license, so it's quite permissive. And we'll restart the IDE now. Okay, it's doing the install. I guess this is good because if you don't have it installed, it shows you step by step how you would install it. I had hoped to skip this step for the screencast. You got a fast forward button so you can go through. Okay, now that the Mirah plugin is installed, I'm going to go back into my project, right click on the package where I have everything, and go to New, Other, and there's now a category called Mirah. I'm going to choose a Mirah class, and let's just call this New Mirah class, and we'll finish. Okay, so this is my sort of my framework for the for Mirah classes. One thing that I actually prefer in Mirah is to change the tab settings so it's only 2. That's usually because Mirah is syntactically like Ruby. So I'm going to go to fonts and colors. I'm going to go to Netbeans, that's right. No. Where was it? Is this different than it used to be? Okay, folding, formatting. Okay, tabs and indents. And we're going to change it so it doesn't use all language settings. I want 2 spaces per indent, tab size of 2, right margin 80, continuation size I'll take 4. Click apply. Okay. Now I'm going to close this. Open it up again. Okay. Now when I tab in, it's just going 2 spaces. Okay. So let's create a method called Hello World, and we will just print hello from Mirah. So the puts in Mirah is just a macro that's the same as system out print line. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go into my FXML controller here, and inside the button action I'm going to instantiate my Mirah class, new Mirah class. And look, it's already got it in there because Mirah is all tied in with Netbeans, so Java or Netbeans knows it's there, and we can do code completion on that hello world method. Okay, so now let's do a run on this. And what we're going to find here is that it doesn't quite work yet. Here we've got a build failure. This is one thing with Mirah, or with the archetype for FXML, or with the JavaFX. Let's go into the POM file. It doesn't seem to list the JFXRT jar in the dependencies explicitly, and Mirah only knows what's in the boot class path and the class path. This is one thing I'm going to look at, but a workaround is just to explicitly add a dependency on the JFXRT file. So I'm going to create a dependency. You can have, I'm going to copy most of this, because with the system dependency, you can have any group ID, artifact ID version you want. And I'm just going to call this JavaFX snapshot. Now the system scope means it's going to be dependent on the file in the system. It's not going to be distributed with it. So looking at the other things that have automatically generated here, okay, here's where we're expecting to find JFXRT jar. Okay, and JavaFX, we'll put this in so that it'll actually find the Java home. Now with Java 8, it's actually in ext. In Java 7, it would be in lib. I did this by trial and error. But so let's put that there, and let's try running it again. So it's going to take a second here to get all. Okay, so it ran okay this time. And if I say click me, it says both you clicked me and hello for Mirah in the console. So this is a success. It's actually inside our FXML controller. It ran our Mirah code. because Mirah compiles just down to the same JVM bytecode that Java does. There's no performance penalty and there's no runtime library in order to do this. So the next step that we want to do is let's try to make a Mirah class be the fxml controller. So right now we're using Java for a controller, but I'm going to create a new Mirah class, and I'm going to call it Mirah fxml controller. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. Okay, so I want it to be more or less the same as the existing Java one. So let's start out by just pasting the Java into the Mirah file, and that way we can get used to some of the syntactic differences. So the package can all stay the same. We can actually leave the semicolons on the end of the lines, but for style, I'm going to get rid of them. These braces aren't needed, and the closing braces become the word end. Right now we don't have the public or private descriptors, although I do have macros to add that, and I expect it to be included in a coming version of Mirah at some point. And we don't need to say void. Okay, we say def for methods. Mirah arguments are the name followed by colon followed by the type. We don't need that. We'll explicitly say it returns void. Same thing here. Got URL. Just changing it to the Mirah syntax, and then we'll start going from there. Okay, so label. So one difference in Mirah is you don't have to declare the members that are part of it, you just assign it. Now I'm going to create the constructor. In Mirah it uses initialize instead of the class name, and for the label member, use this, it's just like Ruby, label equals label nil. What this is basically a cast saying, because if we just assign it to nil, it's not going to know that it's supposed to be a label. And we don't need this at all anymore, except we do need that fxml annotation. But in Mirah, the annotations use a $ instead of the @ sign. So we can wipe this out. And see, the next thing we're going to deal with, okay, this same thing here, the handle button action, that'll be Mirah-ize that annotation. And instead of system out println, which works fine, let's do puts. And label set text. And just so we know we're using this Mirah class, I'm going to say hello Mirah instead of hello world. And we'll get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. And I'm going to get rid of this override. And in fact, I'm going to get rid of this entire initialize because we don't need it. And it kind of, the name kind of conflicts with the Mirah constructor name. So we don't actually need initializable imported anymore, nor do we need URL or resource bundle. And we don't need it to implement initializable anymore. I think older versions of JavaFX needed an fxml controller to implement the initializable interface, but not anymore. Okay, moving this stuff in so we don't need so many indents just for style. A lot of this is just changes for style. We could have done a lot fewer changes. Okay, the next thing we have to do is we're going to open up the scene again, and we're going to change, if I go on anchor pane, go back to code, let's change the controller class to Mirah fxml controller. Okay, and make sure we save the changes. Okay, we should be good to go. Now let's try to run our project. Oh, I've got an error here. Let's see what what happened here. It looks like it happened at runtime. And oh, yeah, here it is. The label is a member variable, so I needed to use the @ sign. I'm actually surprised that even compiled. Or maybe it didn't compile. Well, let's try it again. Oh, maybe that wasn't the problem. See what it says the problem is. Exception start method, invoke, handle button action, either the event is not in the namespace or there is an error in the script. Oh, here's what I forgot to do. I forgot to I copied and pasted the Java, and I forgot to rename the class Mirah FXML controller. All this other stuff, well, some of it was red herrings. Now let's try to run it again. So this is absolutely real world stuff. I'm making mistakes just like real developers do, because that's what we do. We make mistakes. Okay, so when I click this button, it should say Hello Mirah instead of Hello World, and that'll mean that it's using my Mirah class. There it is, Hello Mirah in the label. Okay, so this is just the bare tip of the iceberg, but it should be enough to get you going building JavaFX applications using Mirah. The beauty of Mirah is that you can intermix it with your Java. If you want to keep using Java for 99% of your stuff, do that. And if you just got one thing you want to try using Mirah for, throw it in. And it doesn't introduce any runtime dependencies, and it also doesn't introduce any performance bottlenecks because it compiles down to JVM bytecode just like Java. Alright, well, thank you for watching my tutorial. Hope you have fun using Mirah and JavaFX.